Welcome to E-English class, dear teacher friends and students. I'm Vinod Kumar, a teacher from Kurnool district. In this episode, we are going to see the post-reading activity related to slot number 4 from a reading passage, that is Attitude is Altitude, from the first unit of 10th class English textbook. This last slot from Attitude is Altitude begins at Nick began traveling the world on page number 5 and ends at then my job in this life is done on page number 6. We are going to see a post-reading activity related to this slot. The possible discourses identified in this slot. The first one is a conversation between Nick and Bethany Hamilton on their first meeting. And the second one is a conversation between Nick and Kenny on their first meeting. So conversation is the first discourse identified by me. These are the two possible situations where we can write conversation. The second discourse is a diary entry. A diary entry written by Nick on meeting Bethany Hamilton in Hawaii, or Bethany Hamilton writing a diary entry on her meeting with Nick. Another possible situation for a diary entry is Kane Mihara writing a diary entry on her first meeting with Nick in Texas. Or you can change this as Nick writing a diary entry on his first meeting with Kane Mihara. So these are the possible situations for a diary entry. In addition to these conversation and diary entry, there is another discourse framing WH questions. Earlier, framing WH questions was asked from C reading passages. But last year it was changed to A reading. Whether the passage is given from A reading or B reading, it doesn't matter. Let us try to practice framing WH questions. So the topic for my presentation is framing WH questions. Before we know how to frame WH questions, let us see the types of questions. We know questions are interrogative sentences used to elicit or to collect information from others. It is to get or collect information from people. These questions are of two types. We know that pretty well. Questions are of two types. The first one is yes or no questions, and the second one WH questions. Let us see what are yes or no questions. Yes or no questions are the questions that begin with helping verbs or auxiliary verbs. So these questions begin with helping verbs like do, does, did. Be form verbs like am, is, are, etc. or have, has, had. We can use any of them. And modals like will, would, can, could, shall, should, etc. So these questions begin with helping verbs or auxiliary verbs. These questions are called yes or no questions because the answer for these questions will be yes or no. These are also called inverted questions because these questions are formed by inverting the position of the subject and the helping verb in a statement, in an assertive sentence. That means you can convert an assertive sentence into a yes or no questions by inverting or changing the position of the subject and the helping verb in the assertive sentence. So these can be called inverted questions. Let us see some examples for these questions. Do you speak Tamil? Do you speak Tamil? This is a yes or no question. The answer for this is yes or no. If it is yes, we say yes, I speak Tamil. If not, we say I don't speak. No, I don't speak Tamil. Did he call you last week? Yes, he did. No, he didn't. Was Rafi present yesterday? Yes, he was. No, he wasn't. Can she do that? Yes, she can. No, she can't. Will it be a holiday tomorrow? Yes, it will be a holiday tomorrow. No, it won't be, or it will not be a holiday tomorrow. So these questions will get yes or no as the answer. Now, let's see WH questions. This is our topic, the main topic for today's presentation. What are WH questions? WH questions are the questions that begin with some specific words like what, where, when, who, which, whose, why, and how. These words are called specific words. So questions beginning with these words are called WH questions. Because these begin with some specific words, these questions are also called specific questions. WH questions are also called specific questions. We shall see some WH words and what they mean. When are they used? What? What is the question word used for information about something? To get information, we use what. When? When is used for time of an action. So when is for time. Where? Where refers to a place or a position. It is used for a place or a position. Who or whom. These two can be used to ask about a person. Who or whom. Why? Why for reason. Whose. Whose to know the ownership of something. Who is the owner of a particular thing. Which. Which is used for choice. What can also be used for choice, but if you have a wide range of choice, you can use what. If you have limited choice, you can use which. Next one is how. How is used for manner or quality or condition. How many is for number. How much is an uncountable noun used to ask for quantity. How long is used for length in terms of space or time. So, how long can be used both for space and time. How far? How far is for distance. How old? For age. Telugu meanings of these words are given in brackets for your understanding. You can make use of those meanings. So after knowing these words, let us see the general structure of a WH question. How to form a WH question. WH questions are generally formed in this format, in this structure, beginning with a WH word or a WH phrase followed by a helping verb or an auxiliary verb followed by the subject and the main verb. There may be or there may not be an object. So object may be optional and there may be some other words. Let us look at some examples. What are you doing? This is a WH question beginning with a specific word what. So what is the WH word? Are is the helping verb. You is the subject. Doing is the main verb. So what is the WH word? Are is the helping verb. You is the subject and doing is the main verb. So this is the general structure of a WH question. Where did she go? The same way. Where is the WH word? Did is the helping verb. She is the subject and go is the main verb. When shall we meet? When is the WH word. Shall is the helping verb or auxiliary verb. We is the subject and meet is the main verb. This is the general structure of a WH question. There is another possibility also, WH word followed by the main verb and the subject. Here, main verb in the sense, sometimes a helping verb may be used as the main verb. What is your father? When is your exam? How is his condition? This is another possibility, but generally we use the first one for framing WH questions. In your examination, this question is asked like this. A paragraph is given from your textbook, either from reading A or reading C. Some words are underlined in the passage, like here in 2007, South America and Middle East, a beautiful young girl in Texas, Nick's message. So some words or phrases are underlined like this. You have to frame WH questions to get these underlined parts as the answers. So when you frame a WH question, this particular underlined part should be the answer for that question. This is a paragraph taken from the last slot. Let's try to answer this question. In our examination, generally the students are asked to frame 5 questions. If you are asked to frame more number of questions, you have to follow the same procedure. This is the first question. Nick moved to Los Angeles in 2007. So in this sentence, in 2007 is the underlined part. That means this should be the answer for the question we are going to frame. So how to do that? In 2007 refers to time. So what is the question word we use for time? We use when for questions, for time. So the given sentence becomes Nick moved to Los Angeles when. If you bring this question word to the front, because WH questions begin with some specific words, so we have to bring it forward. When Nick moved to Los Angeles. Merely writing this like this will not become a question. If you put a question mark at the end, that will not make this a question. So what shall we do? We have to divide this verb into the helping verb and the main verb, because we don't have any helping verb here in the given sentence, and the verb here is moved. This is in the past form. So if you divide it into helping verb and the main verb, we get did move. Even then, our sentence will not become a question. To make it a question, we have to invert the position of the helping verb and the subject. Then we get this as the answer. When did Nick move to Los Angeles? This seems to be a lengthy procedure, but you can reduce the number of sentences by practicing. Now, let us see the second one. In 2009, he visited South America and the Middle East. Here, he means Nick. In 2009, Nick visited what? What did he visit? Because here South America and Middle East, names of some places are given. So for them, we can use the question word what. In 2009, Nick visited what or what places, what countries. You can use what places or what countries or simply what. So, what countries Nick visited in 2009? Even this question, this sentence will not become a question. To make it a question, we divide this verb into a helping verb and a main verb. So we get did visit. Did visit. Then if you invert the places, we get what countries or what places did Nick visit in 2009? What countries or what places did Nick visit in 2009? Instead of what, you can also use which for choice. Which countries did Nick visit in 2009? Then we'll get the answer. In 2009, he visited South America and the Middle East. Let us proceed on to the third question. Kene Mihara was a beautiful young girl. In this sentence, the underlined part is a beautiful young girl. So this should be the answer. Kene Mihara was. See, if you look at this part, a beautiful young girl, what does that refer to? It refers to a person. And what is the question word we use for persons? We use who. So if you bring it to the front, we get who Kene Mihara was. Even then, this does not sound like a question. So what shall we do? We have to change the position of these two. So we get who was Kene Mihara. Who was Kene Mihara? Kene Mihara was a beautiful young girl. We get the underlined part as the answer. Fourth question. In 2008, Kene attended a meeting where Nick was the guest speaker in Texas. So in Texas is the underlined part. To get this as the answer, we write the sentences as Kene attended a meeting in 2008 where Nick was the guest speaker. And in Texas refers to a place, and the question word used for places is where. Don't be confused because we have the word where repeated here. We have it at two places. We are concerned about this. In Texas refers to a place, so we use where. Bring it forward. Where Kene attended a meeting in 2008 where Nick was the guest speaker. Even this is not a question. So to make it a question, let us divide the given verb attended into did attend. Then you can invert the places. So we get where did Kene attend a meeting in 2008 where Nick was the guest speaker. Obviously the answer will become in Texas. Or you may ask this as a simple question. Where did Kene meet Nick in 2008? Where did Kene meet Nick in 2008? The answer is in Texas. And the final question. Kene was attracted to Nick's message. The underlined part is Nick's message. What does this refer to? It refers to something. And to know something, we use the question word what. So Kane was attracted to what? Let's bring this to the front. What Kane was attracted to? Even this is not a question, so let us invert these two words. We get what was Kane attracted to? Kane was attracted to Nick's message. So this is the way we frame WH questions to get the underlined parts as the answers in our examination. I hope you understand this. If you have any doubts, you can post them to me so that those doubts will get clarified. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you soon in the next episode with some other topic. Thank you.